What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mint City Soccer Show. I'm Corey Ensko here with Matt Swift. Matt, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Corey? I have lots of things to say tonight.
lots of things to say. Lots of thoughts. No David Gusser this week. Apparently he thinks his day job is more important than this unpaid volunteer work he does in the podcast. Whatever, that's fine. But no, David, we'll have him back next week. But you're stuck with me and Matt to break down. I can't believe it was a win, but a win over Nashville SC over the weekend. Yeah. A win that was a very wild, interesting match that we're going to dig way deeper into. But hey, I'll take another home win this season to keep that streak going.
Yeah, you got to take them any way you can get them, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Far from it. There's a lot happened in those 90 minutes. So we'll dig all into this. First of all, because you teased it on the podcast last week, you brought your 4-year-old son to the match. How did that go?
It ended up being great.
Yeah.
So we went to our normal seats the first half. Anson, my son, was doing great. Donnie and his wife and his little boy, Parker, they come over. And Anson loves and looks up to Parker. Parker's older than Anson. Mm-hmm. And so when Parker left, Anson just started hating everything that was happening. It's like, oh, great. Things were going great. And then now he just wants to see Parker the whole time. So it worked out. We moved at halftime. Mm-hmm. And then Donnie and Allison and his son, they had extra seats around him. So we moved over to their section, closer actually to you, Corey. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even joking. I don't even get to my seat, and I start standing beside Donnie, and we score the quote-unquote offside goal literally as I get to my seat. I'm like, oh, so here we go. Just need to change seats. But no, Anson had a freaking blast. So he watched the game. He was cheering, loving it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he was cheering Charlotte FC all the way home, which 20 minutes into the ride, I'm like, okay, that's enough. That's enough.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
I'm like, what have I done?
Yeah, no, that does relate to a question we had from Donnie, aka Fatbird, who asked, do Matt Swift and I need to sit together more often during these games? So she said 3 should have been goals were scored once the move was made. So, yeah. It's maybe that's just where you have to sit now. That's just the magic of that corner. I know there's a lot of people who listen to this, and Mint City people who seem to sit around that corner because I hear about it fairly regularly. So maybe that's just the magic corner over there. So
it's a happening little spot. I saw all types of folks in that corner that I didn't realize sat there. So it's a cool little section.
Yeah. People who know that didn't do supporter section. It's like skyline view in the shade first.
Shade is crucial for sure.
Especially on a day like Saturday.
Yeah.
We ended up taking I ended up taking my 4-year-old because we were planning all 4 of us to go, and then we had some sicknesses bouncing around. So it ended up being just me and the 4-year-old. And she also had a blast. First half, I think she was like, when is this going to be over? I'm a little bored. But then once the excitement kicked in the second half, it got a lot more fun. So it was a good time with the kiddos.
I had that same vibe. First half, I was like, when's this shit going to be over?
Yeah, it was interesting. Oh, I do have to say real quick, Nate, who sits beside me, my referee friend that I reference a lot, got engaged right after the match. So congrats to him if he's happening to listen to this.
Oh my gosh. Congrats. What do you mean? As soon as the game ended, popped the question, or just went somewhere afterwards?
They went somewhere afterward.
Okay.
I think they wanted to do, he wanted to do an in-game proposal thing. That didn't work out. But it was a total surprise to her.
Oh, cool.
And they went somewhere afterward and did it. So congrats to them.
Oh, and that's awesome.
I'm just going to continue to shout out to Kevin, who sits in front of me, who's awesome. He sometimes listens. He might not listen to this. Who knows? But he's been going through some treatments and things, and got to come to his first match of the season this past weekend too. So it's awesome to see him. So yeah, it was really fun. I thought it was gonna be a really depressing vibe, even though there were fun things going on around it. But it ended up being a really fun second half, and it was a lot to celebrate. So,
and this game was insane. A lot of things happened in this game.
A lot of things.
Man, yeah.
All right. Well, let's. Well, I guess we can do a really, really super quick recap. If for some reason, I don't know why I would do this, but I'm just, just in case somebody's listening to this podcast having no idea what happened in the match. So Charlotte FC beat Nashville SC 2-1. Both goals for Charlotte FC came in the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of the game. Yeah. Nashville scored early in the 32nd minute. Really one of those matches that felt like a match of two halves. And we're going to get into the what and the why of all of that. But yeah, goals by Zaha, a penalty in the 85th minute, and then a ridiculous Toklomati goal in the 90th minute that I'm still thinking about because it was so gorgeous. Yeah. And then, there was also, Kerwin had a beautiful headed goal that got disallowed for offside. We're going to talk about a little bit too.
Sure.
So a lot to get to, but the bottom line is somehow Charlotte found a way to win in a match that did not seem to be at all going their way, which is the kind of thing you have to do. You have to get results like that. So
that's right.
Pretty excited about that and heading on to Montreal next. So let's jump into the first question because this is where we usually start, and it's probably the most contentious part of what happened in this match, at least in my mind. Was Brian Duncan asks, what were your thoughts on the lineup? Dean Smith even said he liked the starting 11 even after the start of the game. They just didn't stick to the, quote, game plan, which I'd be fascinated to know what that game plan was. And then there's a few just kind of related things, or I'll just kind of ask the next one. Billy Neal just says, specifically thoughts on Tim Ream at center back. I know how much Swift hates it. LOL. So let's just use those two questions and get into the lineup that we rolled out against Nashville. What are your? I guess we should say specifically first, like the two major changes were Ream and Malanda starting at center back, which we did last week, but that was because Privett was on a red card and couldn't play. Doumbia at left back, which makes sense if you're going to put Ream at center back, and then putting Gianni in over Abada. Those were the major starting lineup changes we saw. I guess Gianni he was technically in for Abada, but I guess he was kind of playing a midfield thing with Pep playing wing, but also coming in. I don't know. A lot was happening, but Matt seems to get more frustrated the more I talk about this. So I'm going to let him air his frustrations now about that starting lineup.
I think I'm more frustrated by the fact that Dean in post match comments was like, yeah, I thought the starting lineup was great. That's why I went with it. And yeah, they just didn't do the game plan. Sir, I love you. I'm so glad you're here. You have done a lot of great things. But if I was in that press conference, I would have stood up and said, "Sir, you are incorrect. Your starting lineup was awful."
I would pay to see you. This is why we don't.
Be the only press conference I'd be in.
Yeah, this is why we don't show up to the actual media days. Yeah. It's because Matt was in and be like, "Sir, I disagree."
Yeah, no, I love Dean, but look, great players do things wrong. Great coaches don't get everything right, and I don't care what he says. This starting lineup was not great. I was upset when I saw it. We talked about it on Soccer Coffee. I did say that we could move Pep out to the right, and I did say we could go with a more defensive-minded midfield because we want to win that midfield and overrun the midfield. With the three, because you can do that against a 4-4-2. I said that thinking like, oh no, he won't do that, but he did do that. But let me start in the back because I have to ask you a question, and this is a rhetorical one. Have we won a game with Tim Ream at center back? This is well documented on this show, and I've tweeted this out. Yeah. I've said this for like 5 episodes now. Have we won a game with Tim Ream at center back? No. And we wouldn't have won this game. Who knows? But here's the thing: we have not won a game with Tim Ream at center back. We did not play well with Tim Ream at center back. So we have yet to win a game with him playing there. I won't go on too big of a tangent. You have Kalina, Byrne, Malanda, and Privett that have those guys, and you take the left back out of it because we've had multiple people play there. Those guys have been playing with each other for quite a while now. And if I'm not mistaken, we had the second best defense in all of MLS, every single team. Second best defense. The only variable was left back. We had Yuri, who did great, and then we had Tim Ream, after the whole center back thing failed, we moved him to left back, and we have lost one regular season game with Tim Ream at left back. I don't care where someone has played, if they were in the super draft or they're the captain of the U.S. men's national team. I don't care. I see what works for this team. There is no universe right now where Malanda and Privett do not play at center back. I'm sorry. I don't care. If Tim Ream has to sit on the bench, that's fine if you want to put Doumbia at left back. But there's no reason to mess. You want to tinker? This is not Latanzio. We don't need to tinker. If you want to tinker, do that in Leagues Cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give me Privett and Malanda all day long, and Nathan Byrne, Christian Kalina, and then you want to play around with left back, that's on you. But I know what works and what's been working. So I was furious when I saw Privett on the bench.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I feel like, at least I feel this way, and I think you might too, just for anybody who's going to take it the way they might want to take it. This is not, to me, it's not an anti-Ream take.
No, not at all.
It's not about Ream, in my opinion. It's about, for whatever reason, whatever dark magic is happening between Malanda and Privett, it works. It does not, and I think I said it last week, and I know I said it like in the stands to the people around me when we were getting frustrated. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense on paper.
It doesn't.
Like, on paper, the lineup that he put out is the best back line.
Yes.
But in practice, Malanda Privett, like that's who works. They work together well. Yep. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I don't have the words to describe like what it is that makes them play better together. But I just know that when they're on the field together, that back line looks so much cleaner, more cohesive, stronger. I honestly don't care who you put left back. And this is what I said. I think we said this last week. I'm fine with you switching between Ream and Doumbia based on matchups or game plans or whatever. Like, do whatever you want out there. But for whatever reason, Malanda and Privett work, and I don't know why you mess with what works.
That is my whole thing. Like I've seen this at other clubs, big clubs. They have all these superstars, and we talked about it on this team before, or on this club before. Like Swiderski and Capelli, trying to shoehorn them into different and get them on the field at the same time. Sometimes team-wise, team chemistry and dynamic, somebody's got to sit. And I'm sorry, Tim Ream at center back, and we're starting to get a larger sample size. Again, I can't say this enough. We have not won a game, and I'm hoping Dean Smith, somebody from Charlotte FC, record this and give it to Dean. We have not won a game with Tim Ream at center back, and I don't want to tinker during the regular season with it. Yeah. Do that shit at Leagues Cup, Open Cup, whatever you want to do. Don't do it now, and don't do it at home.
Yeah.
If you go on the road and it's kind of like, this is going to be a tough one, let's get some quote unquote veteran experience back there. But I got to say, none of that matters to me anymore. I don't care. Again, you could have played 50 years in the English Premier League, but if it's not working on this team, just don't do it.
Yeah.
So that was my one problem, and then I looked in the midfield and got even more upset.
Yeah, and before we get into that, I should go to Donnie's second question, which is related to what we just said. That is, are the vibes that strong between Adi and Privs such that it should not be broken unless one is sold? They just work, and the proof is in the points, which is exactly what you're saying. Like, to me, there's no reason other than one of them is not available for whatever reason that anybody else should be playing center back for this team. Unless, again, I'm with you on a Leagues Cup or, a place where it makes sense to experiment with some things, to be thinking about some other options. Like, I'm fine with that. But in matches that really matter to us and we're trying to put our best defensive lineup out there, it's got to be those two.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it's got to be those two.
I agree with you. It just black and white numbers say it at this point. So, and again, that's not a knock on Tim Ream, because I got to tell you, I'll just be perfectly honest. I prefer Tim Ream at left back right now over Doumbia.
Agreed.
Just because we've only lost one regular season game with him. Now Doumbia is great, and they could duke it out. And I don't know.
Agreed.
And look, Malanda's going to have a bad game. Privett's going to have a bad game, and one of them might have a bad game this next game.
Yeah.
But over a huge sample size, last year and even year before when Privett moved into that center back role, they've done really well together.
Yeah.
Especially last season. Like, how do you break up a number 2 defensive trio? Just because, like, well, Privett's young and he's a super draft. We got this captain with the man bun and blah blah blah. Like, and it does sound like I'm crapping on Tim Ream, and I'm not. I'm not because my preferred starting 11 is, I don't care what anybody says, I will fight tooth and nail for this. Burn, Malanda, Privett, Tim Ream.
Yep.
That has worked.
Yep.
Until it doesn't, I don't know what to say.
No, I mean, I fully agree. I'm fascinated to see, based on what Dean said after the match, I'm fascinated to see what the lineup is. I mean, but to me, he had to know, right? I mean, he's a very accomplished, intelligent coach.
Sure.
Like I have a lot of respect for Dean, and he made the change. Like, you don't usually see defensive substitutions like that. He made the change.
Yeah.
So clearly he's seeing that something back there is not working. Let me get Privett back in.
Yeah, he made a couple of changes, and they worked.
We'll get to the rest of the changes in a second. We'll overstate on the defense.
Shocker.
But I would also say the Privett chant started relatively early in our corner of the stadium as well. Now that I know where you were sitting, it might have been you and Donnie that started it. But I definitely heard it from up and to the right a little bit.
I'm a big Privett homer, and Privett's starting to be kind of like this Brant Bronico thing for me. Like, quit trying to replace Brant Bronico.
Yeah.
Quit trying to replace Andrew Privett.
Yeah.
Yes, on paper, maybe they don't look like they should be here or starting or playing every single minute. But guess what? They are, and they're playing well until they're not.
Yeah.
Keep going with it.
So let's stick just for a little bit longer. Stick with the defense. Because we have a question from Nietzsche. I said that right, didn't I?
Yeah, Nietzsche. Yeah. Like, kind of like
the first time, so I was making sure.
Nietzsche.
We got it, Nietzsche. All right. Yeah. With the clear difference once Privett came in, how do we find a way to create chemistry in the backfield when we have to switch it up? Because there are we were mentioning, there's going to be times where one's injured or one is on a red card or something happens and we need to play a different center back pairing.
Yeah, that's tough. And I guess it kind of, again, goes back to why you don't want to break up 2 center backs that play a lot together, because they know when one goes forward, one doesn't. Yeah. I mean, the only way you could do that is really simulate that in practice, which I don't know what exactly they're doing in practice. Maybe they are doing that. But yeah, you just kind of have to work that in. Leagues Cup. I mean, the summer's about to happen. There's going to be lots of opportunities. Again, I don't want him to tinker now. Just wait. Especially this home game just did not feel like the right moment to switch up.
Yep. Agreed. All right. We've talked enough about that. What about the midfield? Let's get into your thoughts on. The only thing I'll say is I was driving to the match, and I probably shouldn't even admit this, but I have the little phone holder up on my dash. Mm-hmm. And I was in traffic because Independence was traffic on Saturday for whatever reason anyway. So I saw the lineup pop up. So I just clicked it real quick just to kind of glance around on the side. And when I saw Gianni's name, I nearly got into a collision. I was I'm not exaggerating. I had to slam on brakes and swerve.
Yeah.
Was it related? I don't know. But it was the timing of it was like, Gianni, oh God. And then so that was partially my reaction to it.
Was kind of like watching a car wreck. Or a train wreck, however you want to reference it. And I know Gussler's not on the show, but I'm pretty sure I can talk for him in what I've got to say, because I don't think he was too happy either with it.
No, go for it. Let's hear your thoughts on that part of the lineup.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Did Gianni did he play well last game?
Mm-mm.
No, he played horrible, right? So what do? You start him this game. Doesn't make any sense. Now, again, the thought was to overload the midfield
Sure.
And then I guess Abada has been playing so poorly. A message is sent or something. Okay, so there's lots of. I don't even know how to start with it. I'm so angry. So Johnny should not be starting. Sorry.
Sure.
And then you take another brilliant idea is to take our assist leader, who's been playing amazingly, probably the best player on our team.
Yes.
Like, hey, you know what? We need to overload the midfield, and we're playing at home, and we need to win. Hey, why don't you play right wing? Now, you've done this before, and it really hasn't worked all that well. But hey, why don't you do that now? We'll set our DP winger on the bench, and we'll throw out Gianni out there because he played great last game, and I'm sure he'll be game busters this game. I have seen enough of Jabril Gianni. Like I'm sorry, I've seen enough. I saw enough of him last year. Not a fan. I'm not a fan. He needs to do more. And you could tell me, oh, he's great on the ball. He does this, and I haven't seen it. And let me tell you, we got our ass kicked in the middle. We purposely rolled out this lineup to overload the midfield. We didn't play well defensively, that was the first priority. And then you have no offense because you took your playmaker and you put him on the wing. I couldn't have been more mad when the damn starting 11 came out and about 15 minutes in. Like I had my phone in my hand and was about to tweet some things. And I was like, you know what? Something told me, I was like, just hold on, just wait. And I was good. I put my phone up because I was about to just unload on this team. And like, luckily it worked, but and I was like, and I'm thinking like, oh man, Dean probably learned his lesson here. And, it's going to be all good. And then I hear that press conference, the post-match thing. I'm like, oh, did he learn his lesson? It sounds like he was just like, no, that was the starting 11. We just didn't play well. I don't know, man. I don't think you got it right.
Yeah, because we mentioned this a couple times, I wonder sometimes, because we know that Dean's a little cagey when it comes to press conferences.
Yeah.
Like true. Or not cagey, that might be the wrong word. I think he's playing some strategy with the way he talks about players and strategy in press conferences.
Yeah.
Which a lot of coaches do. They know other people are watching it, and so they're just trying to throw things out there to see, whatever. Do we really think he believes that was the best starting 11, or is he saying that for other reasons? Because again, the changes he made, which we'll get to kind of the changes. We haven't really gotten to that yet, specifically other than the Privett one. The changes he made lead me to believe he's like, all right, well, that didn't work. Let's throw out what actually is a good lineup.
Yeah. No, he did a really, I know we've been very negative, especially since we won. We probably shouldn't be too negative. But I wanted to be honest because like I was not happy and was very angry. I hadn't been that mad at the team in a very, very long time that first half. I was very angry.
That was
bad. But anyway, he did a great job of changing. But the thing is like and we talked about that earlier that morning on Soccer and Coffee. Like I got the idea because you do want to overload the midfield. That's where you can lock that down. But I just don't think Jabril has been playing all that well.
No, I agree. But do you think he believes it when he means that was the starting 11 he wanted to, or do you think he was just saying that for say it?
I think he thought that it was a good idea, right?
Okay.
Like he was like, okay, this is for this game what we want to try to do. Here's what we're gonna do. We want to control that middle and have more like three kind of defensive-minded midfielders. Abada hasn't been playing all that great.
Sure.
Biel has been playing great, so you got to get him on the field. So let's put him at right mid, and then go from there. But I think there's no way that he can be like, man, I got to run that out again next game because that looked good to me. I don't see how you could see the first half and then make the changes, which kind of were what you probably should have started with, and see the difference, and then stick with it. I mean, it's okay to say, hey, we had a game plan the first half.
Yep.
It didn't work. They didn't execute. We got overrun. I changed it. There you go. That's all you got to say. But And I think that's kind of what he was saying in the press conference. It wasn't like, no, I'm a
Okay,
genius, and it was that. So
that's fair.
yeah.
Which I think I know the answer to this. Which lineup decision were you more frustrated by? Was it Gianni or was it Privett not playing?
That's a tough one.
I know.
Yeah, that's a really, really tough one. I think honestly maybe Gianni, just because like there was a part of me that was like, oh my god, he's gonna start Tim Ream. He's gonna start Tim Ream. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Because look, hey, Tim Ream started last game, right? And guess
Yeah.
what? We didn't win. And I'm like, he's gonna start him again.
That was the one I expected. I
Yes.
truly expected that one to happen. I didn't want it, but I wasn't surprised when I saw that one. The Gianni one I was surprised by.
And yeah, and so what was a little maybe I understand the thought of doing it, but what was kind of a little disappointing is like you have a guy that's playing really well in the middle, you're number 10, and you're at home, go for it. Like, let's go. Like, Pep's been playing amazing in the middle.
Yep.
And, like, you still have Brant and Westwood back there. I mean, I get what you're trying to do, but, man, like, I don't know. It's just – and if it would have worked, okay, we would have, not be talking about any of this, but it went so unbelievably poor that first half. I don't think we even had a shot in the first half, if I remember correctly.
No.
It looked really bad. We looked horrible.
Yeah. No, we had no shots, period, in the first half. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, I have to think about it for a while. There aren't many, if any, halves that I feel less good about than that one. I mean, that was just
especially after a loss, right? Like we lost, didn't play well there, and then to play at home, you're like, okay, we're back at home, playing against Nashville, let's go. And then we come out like super defensively. We changed the back line, we changed the middle, and it's kind of like I got PTSD of Latanzio. It was very much like that. It was very much like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of second guessing myself. Let's rotate. Let's do all these things. And to me, it was like a no-brainer. Stick with what has been working and go from there. You've got a good squad. Trust in it.
Yep. So let's get into some of the changes.
Yeah.
That led to the second half comeback. And we asked some questions about the second half. We'll get to yours a little bit here too. So the first one was in the 46th minute, which was Vargas coming on for Gianni. Mm-hmm. I think that was the first admittal that, that's not working. So again,
I like that he did it fast. I like that he made it. Yeah, it was great.
Because Mukhtar scored in the 32nd minute. So we're down 1-0 at halftime. We haven't gotten a single shot period, not even shot on goal, no shots period. And coming out of the half, we make the change. Put Vargas in, move Biel back to the middle where he belongs, let Vargas play out on the wing. I do think we remember texting us back and forth. Abada's in the doghouse. Because, and I think it's a good message to send. We've been talking about how Abada needs to prove it. Like, this is a good message to send. Like, not only did I not start you, but when we knew we needed a better attack on the wing and I was making a change for it, I put in Vargas. That is a pretty substantial choice there, I think.
No, I agree. It definitely sends a signal, right? Like you are DP, but you're not safe. Mm-hmm. And Vargas looked good.
Yeah.
And I think it's been kind of we've talked about this, maybe kind of a kick in the butt to him. Like, hey, you haven't really been performing well. And, especially kind of early on, I even think that first game, when he did come in, or he had a chance to start, he did not look great. So I like to see him having some success. And I hate that, he didn't get that goal. I think that would have been a big boost to him. So, which, by the way, was not offsides.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. I do think I really feel like I don't want to overstate it right now because he's still got a lot to show. But I think I have been happier with the way Vargas has played for a few games here. When he's come on, I've been happier with his play. I think he's trending in the right direction. Yeah, he should have had a goal in this match. Had a goal, against San Jose 2 matches ago. he's starting to find some rhythm there, playing a little better. So that's good to see. I think it was a good motivation for him, and we're starting to see some of that come out. So we put Vargas in, move BL into the middle, and to me, it just felt like immediately step one, the attacks are looking just wildly better. I mean, I thought the impact was immediate because again, we've talked about like BL. He's the league assist leader right now. Like we'll get to his assist in a second here. Like it's early in the season. These numbers are not huge numbers we're talking about, but like he's leading the league in assists.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I wish I had it in front of me, but someone was talking about how he's like almost already like set the season record for the club on assists, and it's what we're like 7 matches in. Like
it's pretty sad,
something
right?
about him being in the middle,
Yeah,
is working. Again, why are we messing with this?
Exactly. What I really like about Pep, and one of the things that kind of, if you did start him, you could control the middle some, even though he's definitely an offensive player, because what he does is he gets the ball and he turns quickly. He does it. He's not nonchalant. He has a great like turn and opens his body up to dribble forward or get the play going. And that's what I really like. And I think when we moved him to the middle, it really started opening things up because players are starting to draw to him, and just it helps tremendously. So I like his game, and there's been some jokes going around about his one pass that he does.
Yeah,
He's done 3 times now for goals. Like, look, dude, you could do that as much as you want, and it's such an amazing weighted ball, which is so unbelievably hard to hit. God, can you? I'm just going back to the Miguel Almiron thing. I'm so glad we have Pep and not Miguel Almiron.
Yeah.
That has worked out tremendously, and a big kudos to the front office for getting that in and having faith in Pep, and then Pep really, really stepping up and doing his thing so far early in the season. This team would not be the same without him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's. I'm going through our questions here so we can kind of use those as a way to guide us. We already talked about it a little bit, but Donnie, I think this is the last Donnie question. He said, unbiased, did they really try to say Brant Bronico stood up the guy on Kerwin's goal? So that was the goal disallowed for offside. It was on a set piece. Vargas heads in a beautiful goal. I can't remember who took the set piece. Was it Westwood? I can't remember who it was that threw it in there. But they waved it off for offside. It wasn't because Vargas was offside. Vargas was on.
Right.
They said Bronico, who was clearly offside, they say he interfered with the play by holding up a defender. Have you watched the replay of this?
Yeah, the defender is standing still. So there's no pick. And even, okay, say he did. How do you not look at video replay? Now, just because he didn't go to the monitor doesn't mean that, I'm baffled by the call. I saw it real time. I saw it in replays multiple times, and then I was like, and kind of everybody's like, oh, it was Brant, not Vargas, clearly. But even then, I'm like, what was he doing? Like, I don't know. So got a little robbed there.
I'm pulling it up again, so I got a filibuster. You might have heard my YouTube pulling up. Because when I watched one replay of it, I did feel like I saw what they were saying.
Okay.
Now I wonder if I can share my screen on this so we can look at it together.
For all
let's
you
find
YouTubers
out. Y'all are hearing. Sorry if y'all are listening to this. You're gonna have to deal with this because I'm probably gonna forget to edit this out. Here we go. We're gonna go here. Share. All right.
Oh, there we go.
This may make it into YouTube too. All right. So let's see. This is right after the goal happened. They're gonna show replay here.
I hate that dude's mustache, or that goalkeeper.
All right, so watch. So here's Bronico, right?
Yeah.
Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see what I'm putting at. Bronico is clearly, he's like, a yard offside.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's what he does to this defender right here, and I can see it.
Okay.
The bump right there. You see that?
Sure.
There's a
But
little bump. I mean, I'm still. It's a tough call. I'm not saying it's an easy call to give, but if I'm watching that, he bumps him right there, and he was running to defend,
okay.
and he slows up on his own. To be fair, but I do see where he made contact with that defender who was running back to defend.
If you
If I'm
look,
playing devil's advocate,
no, that's fair. If you watch that replay though, I was watching after the goal score. No one was like, "Oh my god, he was picking me. He was holding me. Oh my god." It may have been the same guy. Had his hands on his head like,
yeah,
"Oh my god, I can't believe that they just scored on us."
yeah. I mean, I still think it was an unfortunate call. Like I could have seen them just giving that and not worrying about that aspect of it. But like if that's what they were saying, they were being probably pretty picky about it, but I can see
Yeah.
if that's what they looked at and made the call. Fine. I do
And
wish,
and
and this is where maybe I don't know the rule. I feel like is offside one of those that the VAR officials can make the call without having to have the ref come look at it. I guess, but I was kind of surprised they didn't at least look at it
yeah,
before making
just
the call. But anyway,
yeah, just to settle down whatever, whoever's team that was against, of course
yeah,
it was us, but so just to settle down our players and the coach, because we were certainly trying to crowd the referee to get us more time so that
yeah,
they would look at it. And I just feel like you would need to look at that one, because even though, so say he did bump him, was that defender even, would he been able to guard Vargas? I think there's some,
yeah.
I don't know. So I mean, it didn't count either way, so it's a shame. But
Right. I mean, I get it. It's yeah, it's a tough situation because I can make all those arguments as well too. But I do, if I'm being very critical, I see it. So
yeah,
I'll have to at
all right.
least play that little
That's fair.
devil's advocate side, even though I don't know if I totally agree. But if that's what they were calling, I see where they were coming from.
That's fair.
But this might be one of those, and I kind of said it in the moment. The team got hot after that one, like hot as in like frustrated and fiery. Like I think Westwood got a yellow card not long after that because he was,
Yes.
how I love my Westwood when he gets mouthy and is
Yeah.
just giving it to people. He was having one of those moments where he was fired up, and I think sometimes if channeled correctly, that kind of energy
Mhm.
can do a lot for a team when they're down and trying to fight back.
I don't know if it's just because I liked playing that way,
Mm-hmm.
but I really love my teams getting pissed off and
Yeah,
playing. And I feel like we have a good history of getting kind of pushed around and getting pissed off, and then start coming back and playing well and playing with some bite and some grit.
yeah,
I like that style of play anyway. I like my gritty players and everything like that, and kind of getting rough and tumble and
mm-hmm.
back and forth and a little chippy. That's just how I've always, played and always liked watching games. I think
Sure,
we play really good like that, honestly.
I do too.
And I think it helped a little bit in this game. Like here, because here's the thing: the crowd also really was
Yes.
starting to get into the game. They were pissed off. They were chanting, "Ref, you suck." I think it just kind of
I hate that chant, by the way.
galvanized.
Just
Yeah.
as an aside, I
You
hate that
you
chant. I
Oh,
hate the
really?
ref you suck. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
It
Why do
feels
you why do why do you hate it?
I don't know. There's certain chants to me that feel very high schoolish. You
Oh.
know, I used to cover high school sports
Mm.
as in my former life for the newspaper, and so I spent a lot of time in like high school gyms and things like that, and
Oh,
hear
yeah.
like the ridiculous like high school kids chants, which they're high school kids, like they should do whatever they want to, but like
Yeah.
it's a certain level of chant that I'm like, oh, and the ref you suck is one of
Okay.
those. It bugs
That's
me. I don't know
all
why.
right.
Just it's one of those. I'm like, come
That's
on,
fun.
guys.
Hey,
You
I
can
learned
just
something.
boo. Let's
I
just
learned
boo
something about
together.
Corey every episode. His pet peeves.
It's my gripes. This is my outlet. But it was a warranted one. I mean, that in that case. So I do agree. But you're right. I mean, the crowd was flat before that because that
Yes.
first half there was nothing to cheer for.
No.
And up until that point, I mean, that was very early in the second half when that happened. I mean, there just wasn't anything to cheer for. So finally, it was like, okay, we had a goal to cheer for. They got disallowed, but that got people fired up.
Yeah.
And then we got fired up out of like frustration and, that kind of good fiery anger. And I think it charged the crowd, it charged the team. And I think that showed on the field in the way they play. I agree with you. I think we do play well when we have a little bit of fire.
Yeah.
This team handles that well. Some teams don't, but I think this team can take that energy and use it in a positive way. So that's good to see.
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches they say that they don't like that. Like, no, we need to have a good head on our shoulders. But I think secretly, probably Dean, I would think, be like, yeah, hell yeah, go, yeah. And Westwood's a perfect example of that. I think he does a really good job of going at the referee just enough. Sometimes he goes a little over, but that's okay. But it just shows what a good professional he is. And I think doing that sometimes also sends a signal to his teammates too, that he's taken up for them, that he, is trying to fight for them, because he is supposed to be the only one that can talk to the referee. But yeah.
I guess one more thing we should talk about before we get to the goals and the how Charlotte managed to win this match is the Zimmerman injury. I guess it was around the 70th something minute.
Oh my goodness.
Just brutal to watch. So glad that he's seems to be okay and recovering well with everything. But just kind of one of those awful accidental plays where ball is coming in, Vargas goes up for a bicycle kick, which, maybe not the best decision for that moment, but I get why he was doing it. It wasn't like it wasn't malicious. It wasn't anything that was a dangerous play. It felt like,
right.
But it ended up being a poor decision because at the same time he's trying to do this, Zimmerman comes in to try to head the ball out and just foot makes hard contact with the chin.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where it's awful because all the players immediately reacted.
Yes.
Cart came on immediately. I mean, the staff there did an amazing job of like realizing the seriousness so quickly.
Right.
Because there was medical staff and carts and everything out there so fast.
No, they did a great job. And that was very, very scary. At first, when you see things in real time, it's hard to really see what's going on. He goes down and you're like, oh, okay. It's foul against us. Bummer. Because I think Vargas was going to do kind of like a side volley, whatever. And I think Vargas was kind of feeling it at that time, and maybe he, was frustrated and, didn't get the goal and everything like that, and then had a really good opportunity and just really caught Zimmerman flush in the face. And the way he went down, but the players are really quickly, to the sideline saying, "Hurry and get over here." They carted him off. But it's nice to know that, he was responsive. And I was watching, I can't remember if it was like MLS 360, but I guess Dax McCarty is on the show now. And I guess Zimmerman was texting with Dax.
Okay.
And that's as far as I know so far. I'll have to look up to see hopefully he'll be back soon. I've always liked Walker Zimmerman.
Yeah.
I like him personally, and he plays for the U.S. men's national team. So I'm really, really hoping that he can get back out there pretty quickly. And I don't know how extensive the injury is, but maybe even next game he can be out there. So maybe that's a little too rushed. But
I mean, it was a scary thing, and it's also the kind of thing that you never know how it's going to affect players. I mean, like Vargas was visibly distraught.
Yes.
I mean, because you never want that to happen.
Yeah.
You're never trying to do something like that. And so he was clearly upset. A lot of the other players were too. I mean, it's the kind of hard thing. It's hard to kind of get back out and play after something like that.
Yeah. Westwood said Vargas was shaking afterwards. I mean, Vargas knew pretty immediately what had happened, and he, you could see he felt horrible about it. So I'm glad that everything's okay. But to your point, Corey, I've watched all type of sporting events, and more often than not, when a team, even though they're trying to come back, when something like that happens, it just really derails everything.
Yeah.
And they end up not having, I don't know what it is, but they just don't have enough to come back and actually win. Just something gets thrown off like that. But to our credit, I mean, we hung in there.
We did. All right. This is a good time. Let's take a little bit of a break and hear from our sponsor. Matt,
Yes.
I have something very important to talk to you about.
Ooh, what is it?
It's from our friends at Manscaped.
Mm.
Did you know that one man, every hour, every day, is diagnosed with testicular cancer?
No, I didn't know that.
In fact, it's the most common form of cancer among men ages 15 to 35. I'm realizing now that I think neither of us are in that age range anymore, are we?
No.
I mean, it's still important, but
Yes.
we're old, is what we're trying to say here.
That's right.
Also, the reason we're talking about this is April is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, which is why I wanted to take a second to talk about men's health issues that are important to me. With men's health and hygiene in mind, Manscaped has partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society, an amazing registered 501c3 nonprofit organization. Manscaped is putting action behind their words and donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society to help save lives and promote routine self-checks.
Nice.
So they're doing this, part of how they're doing this is they just dropped a special edition bundle that helps support this amazing cause. It's two things. It's the TCS Ball Hero bundle that includes the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra TCS Special Edition and the Special Edition TCS Boxers 2.0. So you can join the over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and support a good cause by using the code CORNDOG for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about the package that we're going to get here, this TCS Ball Hero bundle?
You want to talk about my package? Or no, the
Ohio State the package.
The the package. All right, so first up in this bundle, we have the special edition TCS Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. And it's coming in a brand new color for cancer awareness. It's purple. And trust me, this trimmer is next level.
Purple's the color of royalty, so it means that you're treating your package like royalty.
Yeah, you could do that while you're wearing your purple kit.
Yeah, there you go. Tie it back to the team. I like it.
There you go.
Continue.
Okay, so this it's both cordless and waterproof. In case you want to just take it in the shower or whatever, you can still wear your jersey in the shower if you want to. The trimmer features dual skin safe blade heads, now accompanied by a updated trimmer blade and interchangeable foil blade for enhancement performance. It's a lot of words, but a lot of cool things. But here's where things get interesting. The foil blade, crafted to transcend the boundaries of your typical trim, achieved with the trimmer blade. This foil blade is designed to leave you with a finish that's irresistibly sleek and utterly bare.
Aerodynamic.
Smooth as a baby's butt, I guess, if that's your thing. And if that is your thing, you should get this and use our code. Man, this thing has a lot of features. It's equipped with a powerful LED light in case you want to do it in the dark. Do it in the dark in the shower with your with your purple kit on. Those are the things that you can do. Now you can shave with confidence through tricky regions in the dark.
Shaving in the dark is always a really good idea. It's just if you like a little sense of adventure, take a blade to your body in the dark and see what happens. But this has got the skin safe technology, so you're fine with Manscaped here. They take care of you. They're not going to hurt you. But if you didn't have the Manscaped, didn't have the skin safe blade heads, it might be a little dangerous to shave in the dark.
Yeah, I know we joke a lot, but they really do have some awesome trimmers, with some pretty great features. You can do different things. We're all about making jokes, but it's pretty great.
How about those boxers? Let's get down to the boxers.
Let's do the Boxers 2.0. Comfort like no other. So once you're done grooming, however you want to do it, in the dark, in the shower, whatever, you deserve to feel comfortable. And that's where the special edition TCS Boxers 2.0 comes in and features a brand new purple camo. So
Yep.
you could wear your purple camo kit. Your purple camo boxers and your purple kit after you've shaved with your purple razor. They are designed to be anti-chafing, high-performance boxer briefs that are stylish as they are functional. The waistband hugs your body without kind of digging in, offering tagless, no-roll construction, which is actually very, very nice, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially at the tailgate or at the game, you're jumping up and down. You don't want those things rolling around. On top of the feeling great, upgrading your wardrobe with these special edition boxer briefs also reminds you to check yourself for testicular cancer. I can't believe I said testicular cancer correctly.
You did. That's great.
But yeah, no, check yourself. Seriously, even if you're older than 35, you always should check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Absolutely. And here's the best part. By ordering this Manscaped TCS Ball Hero bundle, you're helping raise awareness for testicular cancer. Every purchase helps spread the life-saving message. But hurry! There's a limited supply, so these special edition products won't last long. Get your bundle while supplies last. Let's help raise awareness for testicular cancer together. Once again, you can get 20% off and free shipping with our promo code CORNDOG at manscaped.com. That's CORNDOG, one word, at manscaped.com. You can also visit manscaped.com/TCS to learn more about how to check yourself or make a donation directly to the TCS Society today and save lives and save balls.
Yeah.
Be the cleaner of testicular cancer awareness with Manscaped. Does that work? I don't know. We're going to stick with it. I'm rolling with it.
Let's do it.
Manscaped.com, promo code CORNDOG. All right, we are back. Matt, we've talked a lot about the things we didn't like from Saturday, things we would have done differently. Let's talk about the fun part of this match, which really was like most of the second half.
Yeah.
But very specifically, the last 10 minutes.
I did have a really good time in the second half. I gotta say. So.
Yeah, the energy was just different. So we talked about that a little bit. It felt like a different team. We were playing differently. The energy was there. I mean, outside again of that really awful injury, the energy was just a whole different level.
Yeah.
When we got to that second half, and again, to me, showed, if you put the lineup out there that we maybe thought we should have started with, some really cool things can happen. So let me actually ask a couple of questions from our listeners. As always, our questions mostly come from our Discord, which you can join by going to patreon.com/Mint City Soccer Show. Throw us a few bucks. You'll automatically get a link for the Discord where we chat about happenings with Charlotte FC and also collect our questions for the show and do soccer and coffee on Saturday mornings,
which is a lot of fun.
So definitely check that out. It's my plug. So Will and Russell asked similar questions. So Will asks, is our team identity just, quote, dick around for the first half and pop off in the second?
Maybe there is starting to be kind of like this thing. So at first I kind of want to laugh. I love the whole dicking around thing because I use that term quite a bit. But no, I mean, and it could be that we are a second half team, and maybe that's okay as long as we can keep a clean sheet in that first half, and then we really get grooving in the second half. I think that's okay. That's not horrible. I'd much rather have 3 goals in the first half, right?
Yeah.
But no. But we'll see. It's still very early, and maybe we can get back to this normal lineup and then kind of see how we go from there. But yeah, there is something to that, though.
There is, and I agree that it's fine as long as you're not digging yourself too deep of a hole.
Right.
Like if you are the kind of team that maybe plays even down a goal in the first half and then is really good about making those second half changes to take advantage of your opponent, which you've seen in the first half, Yeah, that's great, but you can't go down 3 goals or 2 goals in the first half, right? Like as long
That's
as
right.
like in a situation like this, I mean, you don't want to go down 1 goal even, but
Yeah.
if you go down one or in the first half and are able to make adjustments and then score 2 in the second half, that's not a terrible way to play. But especially if you're able to keep the score level in the first half and then make those adjustments and then come screaming through the second half, it's not the worst thing because it does show that the team and the coaches are seeing what's happening and able to make really strong in-game adjustments.
Yeah.
That's a huge strength to have. So as long as that's the case, I'm fine with that. But related question from Russell: are you more psyched about the comeback or worried about the slow start?
I'm psyched about the comeback.
Yeah.
Again, this could have been a game we very easily could have lost. I look at this game. I look at Seattle. Maybe 2 games. If Walker Zimmerman stays on the field, there's lots of variables there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm psyched about the comeback. I really thought, and kind of going back to that first question, I think Dean has shown, to his credit, that he can make adjustments, that he can make changes to right the ship, or whatever he's saying at halftime seems to be working. And
Yeah.
maybe that is why we're a second half team. And sometimes you see an opponent and you think you can get an advantage by a certain type of lineup. But I like that Dean again made those changes quickly. So yeah, I'm pumped about the comeback and winning at home. I thought that showed some character.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll also say Russell also shared something in the Discord. I'm going to screen
Oh
sharing
yeah,
mood today, so I'm going to share it here too.
let's do it.
Where it was kind of the more advanced analytics piece where we're looking at, taking basically expected points and then actual points and kind of doing a little formula to decide like, is the team actually good? Are they lucky?
Mm,
Basically, like, are they overperforming what they actually are, kind of deal. And it has Charlotte kind of pretty solidly in the overperforming but bad, which I think is a bad. I wouldn't call that quadrant that, because I don't think that's the actual truth.
yeah,
But I honestly, at least this part of the season, so early in the season, I don't mind being there. To me, it's okay early in the season to be not playing great
right.
and managing to get points.
I'm with
Like
you.
that's
Yeah.
fine. Now, yeah, because ultimately, even out. Like if they're actually bad, we'll find that out. You know, I don't think they are. I think they've had some situations where like maybe the lineup didn't work or there was reasons for slow starts, but they've managed to get points out of matches that they probably shouldn't have. And so I will take being in that quadrant right now, as the team is still gelling together, is still figuring it out, and has gotten off to still a pretty hot start. So I think it's interesting, but I'm with you. I'm not worried about the start because I think you can clearly point to what it was. It was like
Hmm.
that lineup didn't work,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
think that's something that's easy to change going forward. So
Yeah. Give me luck all day long.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, because we've had our fair share of being unlucky. But yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The Seattle game comes to mind. Maybe we probably shouldn't got a point there, but hey, we did, and that's again, these
Yeah.
are the types of games that get you higher in the playoff seeding or out of the playoffs. So
Yep. All right. So before our first goal, we made another rash of substitutions. Bring on Privett for Doumbia, Williamson for Bronico. Still do not understand that sub being made ever. I don't know if you have thoughts on it beyond that, but I just never. Whenever I'm seeing it, I'm like, why? Um,
yeah,
and then then Toklomati for Patrick, which I think
mm,
made a lot of sense too. So we had those 3 subs. Again, the Privett one we mentioned earlier, realizing that hey, we need to get the defense back solid to where it should be.
yeah,
And I think it was right. I didn't mind keeping Ream on, but move Ream back out to the left. And you saw that kind of start again. That was kind of the next step of me seeing like this is the team playing like it normally plays.
yeah,
Um, and then just about 10 minutes later, we have Zaha just putting the game on his back, saying,
yeah,
get out of my way. I'm going to win this game.
yeah,
And forcing a penalty there. I mean, the ball coming in, the way he just like leaped over the defender and got himself in position to take
yeah.
that ball down. right outside the box, then drive in and force the foul was gorgeous to watch in real time. So thoughts, and then obviously he gets the penalty, puts it away very beautifully, but that gets us level. But thoughts on that goal from Zaha?
This is why you bring him in, and
Yeah.
I don't think Zaha had a great game.
No.
But here's the thing: he's the type of player that's going to give you that moment, right? And erases kind of not a great game.
Yeah.
And his performances hasn't been anything to write home about, right? And we've talked before, people starting to get very critical of him. But again, he's going to give you these types of moments where you need a goal and he's going to make something happen. And he's the type of player, again, I keep saying it, like players just tend to foul and push and they get under their skin. And, so it was great. It's exactly why we brought him into the team. And then he converts it, and here we are.
Yeah, beautiful. Ties us up 1-1. Felt, again, even more so, felt like a totally different match. Like I honestly, in the moment when I was watching the recap or the match highlights the day after the match, I honestly didn't realize, or I'd forgotten how late in the match his goal came.
Same.
Because it's still like in the moment, it felt like, oh, we've still got plenty of time,
Yes.
and we were playing so well. Like, surely we're gonna have a chance to score a second and win this game.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like normally if I see a goal in the 85th minute, I'm like, oh, great, we got a draw. Like, cool. Like, let's hold out for the draw. But this, for whatever reason, this match felt like, oh, there's still plenty of time. We're gonna get this win.
Now it could be a little thrown off because the
Sure.
Zimmerman, and there was like 11 minutes of added time, right?
Yes.
I think it ended up being 11,
it was 11,
or 13 or whatever the hell.
Double digits. We'll just say double digits.
Kind of some bull crap at the end there of that referee. But yeah, I was kind of the same thing when I went back. I'm like, oh, what minute did he score? 85th minute. Dang, I felt like it was like 60, 70th minute. It kind of felt like that.
Same.
But yeah, it was very, very timely. So, and then I think just everything shifted, and I felt like I'm like, okay, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, like the way that game had been going, a point I would have been okay with on all things, if I want to be perfectly honest. But I did feel like, I'm like, oh, we can probably go ahead and get this now. But yeah, but it worked out.
It did, thanks to one Idan Toklomati.
God, yeah.
So we already talked about the assist. Pep did his classic little. It was also really fun if you watch the replay. And again, so the side of the field, they're scoring on the side of the field that I'm sitting on, and it was just so much fun. So the play is Toklomati's kind of sitting right on the line with being offside, and Biel puts this beautiful ball over the top, and Toklomati just, with all of his speed, sprints in behind, does this absolutely ridiculous touch past the keeper. I mean, I watched that replay so many times. I still know how he just got the perfect little toe on it, just to flick it a little bit to the right. Still had to beat two defenders who were like crashing into the goal to score the goal. Just an absolutely beautiful, crazy. I mean, talk about a way to have a first goal for a team like that's when you're gonna remember it, because it was just gorgeous. But what was cool about it, watching it like before it happened, is like Toklomati is standing right level with the last defender for what felt like a minute. It was like, like 3 seconds, but he was there. He was like, I'm here. Come on, send the ball. I'm ready. Send the ball. And then he sent it. He was immediately there.
You do this.
But he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And he was like, you could almost see him shaking with like anticipation. Like, I know you're going to send it. I'm ready. I'm ready for it when you send it. And he takes it and scores. It's just unreal goal. And Bank of America Stadium exploded. It was, so I was throwing my 4-year-old up in the air, and it was just one of those like, awesome moments in the stadium to take a 2-1 lead there against Nashville.
Yeah, my wife was able to get a good video of Anson, because he was excited. I was excited. Donnie was excited. We're all pretty pumped. No, it's just such a great goal, great assist, and just a long time coming for Toklomati, because he's been so close. And here's the thing: every single game that he's played in, he's done something. Either an assist or, got the own goal. And then he had one go off the The post.
The post.
He had a great save by the Cincinnati goalkeeper. So in every single game, he's done something.
Yeah.
And it's going to put a little bit of pressure on Patrick. I think they're, look, I love Patrick too.
Yeah, same.
So it's going to be interesting to see who's starting, who's doing what. But yeah, I just feel so relieved for him because he deserves a goal because he's been working really, really hard. And, it's funny. No one knew who this kid was.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, oh, okay, he's on Crown Legacy. And then here he is scoring the game winner. And again, big kudos to our front office. We talked about Crown Legacy last time.
Yeah.
And again, I've been battling, like, every time someone says, "Oh, we've missed on the DP," I'm like, "Oh, well, let me show you all the things we have hit on that no one knew these people." And Toklomati is one of these folks that, okay, maybe he might be the best Israeli player that we have on the team, and it's not Bada. So far, Bada hasn't really shown anything, but Toklomati has. So whatever. But it's great to see him performing well.
I believe in the episode we did with Zoran where he said something along the lines of, 'cause I think it was after the San Jose match, right? And that's when Toklomati started because Pat was playing for the men's national team. And Toklomati didn't get a goal. Played really well, though. And I feel like Zoran said something about how he made a point to go over Toklomati and say something like, you were my man of the match. Like you're right. I agree. Like, I really, like, to your point, when he's been on the field, even though he hasn't gotten that goal until this past match, when he comes on the field, he makes an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And when he started, he made an impact throughout that match. Like, he's got something going on. And he's always one that I am very happy to see come off the bench. And to your point, like, so the question from Russell Varner is, at what point would you consider benching Pat for Toklomati? I'm not there yet, but I'm also at the point now where it's like, if for whatever reason Pat's not getting good touches, he's not getting good balls in, or he's not playing well, or something's not working, I am very quick in the second half to bring on Toklomati.
Same.
Like, I'm fine with Pat starting right now, but just having that decision, in the 60th odd minute and saying, like, all right, we need a little spark on offense. Pat's not working right now for whatever reason, the way they're playing him, the way the midfield's playing, like, who knows, whatever the thing is, the way he's playing. We should be bringing on Toklomati quickly to say, like, all right, we need that offensive spark. He's going to come in and make some things happen.
Yeah,
because he's shown that.
Yeah, I still like Pat. I agree with you, Corey. I think I keep starting him, but I'm one of those people. 60-minute mark, we're making some type of change if things are not working. You want to give Toklomati, and if it's reverse, you want to give Pat enough time to get into the game and make an impact. You want to give him more than 10 minutes of playing time. But it's a good problem to have, and a good, they're different. They're similar in some ways, but they're very, very different in other ways. And again, Dean talked about how in the back, we can have different looks, and in the midfield we can have different looks. But now up top, we have, two options depending on how you want to play. So it's good stuff.
But it wasn't like we strolled into that match with no stress, because Nashville had their chances to level that game. Specifically, one that, if I'm remembering correctly, was a ball came across the box, and was it Surridge who just absolutely whiffed on it right in front of the goal, like very, very late.
Yeah.
There were some real nervy moments. I thought we were going to have a classic Nashville moment where we, either do something stupid and give up a penalty, or I just feel like we've been snake bit by Nashville multiple times with really, really late things. And I felt good up until, like, I feel like the final couple minutes there, I was like, oh no. Oh no, it could happen again.
They were getting some free kicks and getting corners. And again, this referee was like a little liberal with the extra added time. It was a little nervy, but we did well defensively too. Just very proud of the team. I know we were, pretty critical at the beginning of this show, especially at Dean, but I wanted to get that off my chest because I was upset, and I don't want to do an episode where, like, yes, we won, everything's hunky dory, because it wasn't. And again, I hope some lessons were learned. But again, I think the positives here, I think, outweigh the negatives.
Yeah.
Because we showed a lot of toughness and grit and making things happen, and not only getting a point, getting a win. That's freaking huge, man.
Yeah.
So that's going to go a long way. Because if we wouldn't have won this game, we would have dropped. Now everything's very close, but we would have dropped probably, I think, down to like 8th or 9th if we wouldn't have won this game. So
yeah, the standings are super close right now in the East. It's kind of wild to see. Basically, like, what is it? Let me pull up here. It's like second. I mean, 1st through 8th is 4 points.
Yeah, the East is stacked this year.
You got Columbus with 15, and you got New York Red Bulls at 8 with 11 points, and then Nashville's at 10. You know, and I also think it's big getting 3 points from that, because I feel like Nashville's going to be one of those teams that we're battling against for playoff position if things continue. I mean, we were exactly level coming into that match, and so getting points like that is huge.
Sure.
Anything else on that match? We have a handful more questions kind of related to what's coming up next and more big picture stuff. Anything else you want to talk about for Nashville?
No, I'm good.
All right. So Matt Chantry, looking ahead, we go away to Montreal. We talked about this a little bit last week when we were talking about our away form, this being a big kind of let's see it moment for the team and how they play away. And Matt's kind of playing off of that. Matt Chantry says, is this weekend as close as it gets to a must-win match this early in the season, purely to get the away win monkey off of our back?
Yeah, I hate to say must win, but if you're looking at an away game and knowing what your schedule's like in May, I think, did I say this? I can't remember last episode, or maybe it was just Soccer and Coffee. Like, this is one I would circle on the schedule.
Yeah.
Like, we go get this one. We play aggressive. We go all out and try to win this one. A point, okay, but Montreal's not good. They're in last. I know historically we do not play well in Montreal. We really don't at all. Our goal differential is pretty horrible. But maybe it's time for a little flippy flop.
I hope so.
We haven't used that. We haven't used flippy flop so far this season.
We need a little flippy flop. No, I mean I agree. I think Montreal's not good, but again, we've struggled there. I mean, that was my away trip last year, and those 90 minutes were the worst part of my stay in Montreal, which was a beautiful city and had a great time. But the match was brutal. So I'd love to see us change that, and also, just show that we can play well on the road. I agree with you. Don't come in timid. Come in with a drive to win that match.
You got to go get that
goals. Yeah. So again, related from Gordon, what do we need to do to get the win on the road? Start the team that finished against Nashville. And then he also says, is it good that Montreal are bad, or could that bring an air of misguided confidence?
Both good questions. One, I think you know my answer. My back line preference.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the middle, you've got Pep Biel, Bronico, Westwood, Abada, Zaha, Pat up top. And if you don't, just to clarify, Tim Ream at left back, Privett at center back, and Malanda and Byrne. That's the lineup that I would go with.
Yeah.
To me, that is your best lineup right now. Doumbia could be there, but use that. Go get this game. I think that gives you the best shot.
Agreed. And then Brad Jackson says we have Montreal.
I'm sorry. What was the second?
Sorry. You're right. Is it good that Montreal are bad, or could that bring an air of misguided confidence?
I would normally say yes, but I think
yes to which part? That misguided confidence, or
yes?
It's good that they're bad. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it is good that they're bad, but more so, I kind of feel like when we win, we typically have a letdown, especially if we are playing away, because they'll literally just happen. But I think with this game, I think the guys are probably feeling a little lucky. Probably got a good chewing out by Dean, and maybe like a good wake up call too. And I'm sure Dean and staff has looked at the May schedule and be like, guys, we gotta go get this one. This is the one you need to go get,
Yeah.
please. So I like our chances a little more this time.
Yeah. Related to that, that's Brad Jackson's question. Says that we have Montreal, San Diego. So Montreal away, San Diego, and New England at home. Do we need to win all three before we hit this spell of away matches in May? Because again, we've talked about this a few times, but in May we play how many is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 3 in a row away to start the month of May. And I think there's 2 more. I gotta click the button to change pages. Yeah. So 5 away matches in May out of 7 matches.
Yeah, that's
in that month. So it's a brutal stretch. We talked about this, I think, in the preseason episode too. So
yeah.
Do you feel like these next 3 are must wins to start to weather that long away trip?
I hate to say it, but I think so. Just because that stretch is freaking brutal.
Yeah.
So you don't want to, because if things come off the rails during that stretch, I mean, you're at the bottom because everybody else is winning during the stretch, and things will all even out, of course. But you don't want to get too far behind. Morale, fans start going nuts, things like that. So go get this win in Montreal, and then keep our form at home.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get a draw in there somewhere, but you need to at least win 2 of these games.
Yeah, I agree there. I agree. All right. Our last question has nothing to do with Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Paul, if you've seen some of the reporting, the reports are that Beckham/Miami are making a move for Kevin De Bruyne.
Okay.
How long can the league sustain the allure? Wow, I'm struggling with that word. That's fun. Of parity when bending over backwards to make a team of superstars. He specifically cites Miami in the East and the LAs in the West. The flashy players prefer those coastal flashy cities, so it's not necessarily the league's fault, but how long before stacking those teams creates power imbalances?
It's a really, really good question, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that this league is and will probably struggle with, because we have kind of built this whole entire league on everything being very, very equal, but we're also wanting to take that next jump and be seen globally. And in order to do that, you need to have kind of these powerhouse teams. But what does that do to everybody else? I will say, so far it's kind of worked out though, because Miami they've won Open Cup, right? It's the only thing they've won.
Supporter Shield, but yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't win MLS Cup.
Yeah.
Columbus Crew did, a more, kind of team. LAFC also kind of a mega powerhouse, but again, they're not winning it every single season, right?
Yeah.
Seattle, another big team, but they're not the New York teams. You're not really seeing them really do much of anything. LA Galaxy kind of is on always this roller coaster. They win, and then now they're not great, and then the win, and so I don't know. So far, it's been okay, but I think it is a good point. Eventually, it will get stacked so much that Jesus. So it's something that the league is going to have to kind of look at, and if you start seeing kind of when Manchester City's winning it every single year, what does that do to the league? And will it negatively affect the league if someone's winning it, 3 years in a row? I don't know.
Not necessarily. And I do think there's something to the playoff format making that harder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Not that winning Supporters Shield is easy. It's definitely not, because you have to be good over a whole season. And that's a hard thing on its own. And it probably is a truer sense of who was the best team this season, right? Is whoever wins the Supporters Shield, typically.
Yeah.
But playoffs are a whole different animal, it's the reason we all watch March Madness too. Whatever you do, the playoffs are a different animal, and not always the team that had the best season comes out on top of that. So that does add some kind of level of parity. Is if you can make the playoffs, it's a whole new ball game.
That's
You
very,
know,
very, yeah, it's
Atlanta
very
can come
true.
in and beat Miami. Like, those are things that can happen in a series. Even like in that one, it's not even like a one-off fluky thing.
That's
Atlanta
true.
comes and meets them in a 3-game series.
Yeah.
So like I think that just having a playoff format to decide the champion will probably always have some level of parity in the way we decide the champion. But I do worry about that a little bit because I do think it's not. I don't know. To me, it's not as fun to watch a league where you know that there are going to be 2 or 3 teams that are going to be fighting for a championship. Everybody else is fighting for later.
Yeah.
I mean that's just not what I want to see. And I guess my bigger thing is that like, fine, if we want to go after these big players and raise the profile of the league to get some of these guys who are, not retirement stage but still in prime playing position to come play in MLS, I'm all for that. But like, let's be legit with the roster rules then is like my only thing. And I
Yeah.
saw some article that New York Times put out that was like, how Miami could get De Bruyne without while staying within MLS's roster rules. And I was like, I'm not even going to read that. Like, I'm sure I'm sure they'll find some way to justify it, but like, let's be real. There are like 7 DPs on that team if he comes there. So
Yeah.
like, let's just be honest about what we're doing, like it's fine, but either get rid of the rule or change the rule or something to make it feel more legit about how we're stacking up some of these teams.
Yeah. MLS is a little shameless at times about
Yeah.
like purposely pushing narratives or certain teams that are in certain markets. Um, I feel like, and I feel like Charlotte did not get any type of push at all, but a team like Austin did, a team like St. Louis did. I feel like that's all that anyone was talking about, and then you have the Miamis and you have LAFC and then sometimes the Galaxy, even though they're starting to they were a little fading away because of LAFC. Um, there's just certain teams that are darlings and they want to push this narrative and then they want to get these players so they can market things and get more money in, and it's annoying. But maybe it's just one of those growing pain things of the league to get to where we need to get to. But it certainly is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right. That is. Oh, actually, no. I was going to say that's all our questions. But while we were recording,
Oh, yeah.
David, who couldn't bother to show up tonight, is texting us a question.
That's true.
Just kidding, David. We love you. No, he texted us a question. So again, I saw this on social media a little bit. So the president, he's the president, right? Is that his title? President of FIFA,
Yeah.
Gianni Infantino, was in Charlotte. I guess it was today or this week at some point. I think it was today.
I think it was well, he was here
Was it
yesterday for
yesterday?
sure. I'm not sure if he was here today. Maybe he was here today,
Okay.
but I know
he
he
was here this
yesterday.
week.
Yeah.
Visiting ahead of the Club World Cup. But there was also some things about, maybe the Women's World Cup in 2030, like some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So when he's kind of visiting Charlotte and kind of checking out the soccer scene here and understanding what it is. And Charlotte FC, I love David that he gets fired up about this. And I'm actually really with him on this one. I'm going to again share my screen. This is like I never shared the screen on this podcast before. We're going to do 3. We're going to do 3 in one show this time.
Yeah.
But and for the people who are listening and not watching on YouTube, I'll explain it to you. But we have this image of Tepper Sports Entertainment executives, like the team executives. Zoran's in there, Tepper's in there, other people are in there. The mayor, Vilaus, is in there with Infantino, and 4 of them are holding soccer jerseys. None of them are Charlotte jersey. Just there's like Bayern Munich is in here, Real Madrid. Yeah. There's a Mexican team, Pachuca's in there.
Looks like Benfica.
Is it Benfica? Yeah.
I think it is.
So Benfica. So you've got a handful of jerseys, and then you've got and instead of a Charlotte FC jersey.
Yeah.
Matt, what jersey are we holding in here?
Okay.
Or you want to say something else first?
No, let me say what he's holding up first, because at first I'm like, what in the? But I think I figured it out. Corey.
Oh, have you?
I think I figured it out. Okay.
Okay.
So he's holding up a Panthers jersey, which you're kind of like, why not? Why are you doing this? Charlotte FC is the soccer team. Hey. But I think I figured out why he's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Club World Cup. Charlotte FC is not in this tournament. So maybe holding up the Charlotte, because all these other teams are, the jerseys that they're holding up, all those teams are in the Club World Cup. Charlotte FC is not. This is the only rationale I can come up with. Charlotte FC is not in the Club World Cup, but Bank of America Stadium is hosting the game. And I don't know. That's the only thing I can come up with.
That is the most generous reading of this. I see where you're going with someone at TSE is scribbling that down real quick so they can use it as an answer.
Yeah. So for people that can't see the photo, it is a gentleman that I do not know, and I'm sorry, he's holding up a Real Madrid jersey, and then you have Jill Ellis and Zoran in the background. They're holding up the Benfica jersey. Then you got Mir Lyles holding up a Bayern Munich jersey, and then you have Christy Coleman, who's now kind of like the CEO of Panthers and Charlotte FC. She has the Pachuca. Is that what that one is?
I zoomed. Let's see if I can zoom on. There we go. Look at that.
Yep, that's right. And then you have Nicole Tepper, who's holding the crown, and you have David Tepper in the back, and then you have Gianni, right? He's the one that's holding up the Panthers jersey, and on the back of this jersey it says FIFA 25. It could be a Charlotte FC jersey, but again, Charlotte FC's not in the Club World Cup, and that's what this is about.
Yeah, but I mean,
and it is dumb. It's dumb.
It's a bad look when you already have I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
When you already have a situation where in certain parts of the fandom there is a strong feeling that Charlotte FC is the overlooked, neglected part of this organization. I'm not saying I agree with that. I just feel like we get questions like this. Like this is something that comes up, right? It's not a good look to have him holding a Panthers jersey. Have him hold something else. Or I don't know, like
not hold anything at all.
Not hold anything at all. Like you didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
To give him a customized FIFA 25 Panthers jersey is wild to me and makes no sense.
And I'm trying to, because all the teams are not represented here, so I don't know why they've selected these.
Yeah, why'd they pick the ones they picked?
And maybe, hold on, I'm looking at the different leagues. Maybe they are different leagues that are being represented here.
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's like this whole everything else in this photo is soccer.
That's true. That's true.
Everything else in this photo is soccer related. We even got the crown in there.
Yeah.
And they gave him
the FIFA or
the FIFA. And he might be wearing a Charlotte FC scarf. Like I'm trying to see in here. Like he's got the Charlotte FC scarf going on.
I think he is.
You know, so that's fine.
So here's the thing. Clearly, somebody at Tepper Sports, probably Zoran, who's in this photo, or Christy, or Woody, who's the communications person. Like someone probably was like, "Hey, let's get him a Charlotte FC jersey," and they probably did give him one. But maybe there is something to it, or maybe some type of stipulation. I don't know. That's the only thing I can.
I mean, I couldn't think of any reason. So the fact you came with anything, I'm impressed by. So
it's dumb, no doubt, and I'm not trying. But maybe there is some type of like, hey, we can't because Charlotte FC is not even in this tournament. But then again, you're holding a Panthers football jersey.
Yeah.
Now, they are playing in the stadium. I don't know. It's very strange.
That Charlotte FC plays in. It's like
exactly. It is very strange. I don't know. It's weird, but they've done some weird things. I don't know.
I just had to be mad on behalf of Davis since he couldn't be here to.
I get it. And it was funny. I was about to say, yeah, this is the dumbest thing ever. And then when I was looking, I was like, oh, I wonder.
That's
maybe that's why they did it that way, or maybe there may be some type of weird. FIFA has some weird rules, man.
Yeah,
and weird marketing things, and I don't know. But I didn't see Arsenal because they're. Oh wait a minute, they're not in the Club World. Are they in the Club World Cup?
Well, I don't know. I don't
No,
know
they're
them
not.
there.
They're not. I'm sorry. They're not. I was thinking
All right.
Champions League for a second, but no, that is something different.
One more thing before we go. We mentioned we were talking about this a little bit before we started hitting record. If you haven't seen it, apparently Zaha underwent hand surgery.
Yeah.
I guess it was Top Ben who reported that first, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but I believe it was Top Ben who sent that out first.
Yeah, I think he put that out. I think Zaha put something out on Snapchat. That's where Zaha likes to
there you go.
communicate. And Top Ben got it and told everybody.
Yeah. So interesting to see. We don't really know much more about it at this point. Hoping, and this is just me wildly speculating, I'd hope that, since it's a hand, I know surgery is never minor necessarily, but, hopefully it's something that's a pretty quick recovery and won't take too much of his playing time up. But just an interesting thing to see. We'll see if it affects his availability for the Montreal match and anything else going forward as well, too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully I don't know. I mean, they can tape it up. There's cast, of course, they can do to protect it, but I'm hoping he's good for this weekend because again, we kind of need the win this one.
Yep, agreed. All right, that's all we got. Matt, enjoyed it as always. Everybody listening, definitely check us out on Patreon and sign up so you can get on the Discord. If I didn't forget, the link is in the bio, or not link in bio. This is not Instagram. The link for that is in the show notes, unless I forgot, in which case, like one of the episodes, I probably put it there. But check us out there. Come join us in the Discord, chat, join us for Soccer and Coffee on Saturday morning. Let's talk about getting ready for a win up in Montreal. I wonder how cold it's going to be in Montreal this weekend. This is an early time to go to Montreal, and they can get real cold up there. So that'll be interesting too.
That's true.
This is their first home match, 8th match of the season. I feel like somebody said that is their first home match, but again, it's real cold up there. So I guess that does kind of make sense.
And maybe that's why they're dead last, because they've been playing on the road nonstop. So
I mean, that's a brutal.
Yeah,
it's a brutal way to start your season. I'm going to confirm
really
that this is their first home match while I'm stalling here, but someone did say that, and it made sense to me. Confirmed. They played on the road every game. So their first home match. We'll see how they do. But you'll hear all about it next week when we chat here. Next week's episode. But again, check us out on the Discord. Go to Soccer and Coffee. Listen there on Saturday morning to get ready for the match. And we'll talk to y'all next time.
See you guys.